welcome to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia Defazio, and I'm joined today by Prashant Sabapathi and Ozer Culhagil of Elite Income Advisors. Prashant, how are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. Ozer, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Good. It's so good to see both of you, obviously. And I want to definitely talk about the new book that you've co-authored, Prashant. This is amazing, Retire Abundantly. And I love this name because we've talked in the past on prior episodes about how people can sometimes come into the office and they say, I don't need much, I just want to get by. And you both are like, no, I want you to retire with abundance and be happy.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about this. You co-authored this book.
That's right. And so when the book came out and when we were thinking about it, I wanted to write it in a different way than the other books that that I've done. And so this one, right, Fiscal Health, Retirement, Wealth, And so this one is a little bit differently. I think it's more about mindset more than anything. In the past, the other book that we did talked a lot about just how to think about retirement, but this one I wanted to focus more on what we want actual life to feel and look like when we get to retirement. I think it's so important that after years and years of hard work and sacrifice that you're able to live the way that you want to and do it, stay active, do it while you're healthy, be able to give back and also leave a legacy. So to me, that's what retiring abundantly is all about. It's not just having an abundance of wealth in your retirement accounts, but it's also about having an abundant lifestyle where you can give back and do the things that are important to you.
Absolutely, because Ozer, we've talked in the past about how important it is for someone who wants to retire to have things planned after that big day, because so often you hear stories about people that are so used to getting up in the morning, they go to the office, their family and friends are there, it becomes like a second family, and then all of a sudden that first day of retirement, they don't know what to do, and sometimes that can cause depression. So let's talk about how important it is to have hobbies.
Well, hobbies are important, but mostly the honey to-do list is very important, which we see that with a lot of our clients, like always coming and telling us that they retired and, they are living the life that they wanted to live, but they cannot find enough time to do all the stuff they want to do, which is, to me, is the most enjoyment things to hear from the client is that they are happy, they are active, like they are doing a lot of charity work and they are traveling, going to cruises, around the different places in the world. But the most important thing is like they are happy, that's what the retirement about. You work so hard, you want to be happy.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, I want to switch gears for just a minute. I know we're talking about happy things now, but let's talk about the white elephant in the room if we could. Taxes. Oh my gosh, everywhere I go, it seems like people are mentioning taxes in one form and another. So, Prashant, I have to ask you, why are we so focused on taxes right now?
Yeah, part of retiring abundantly is giving back, but this is one area where we don't want to give back, right? We don't want to be giving back our income to the federal government if we can avoid it, okay? And so when we look at it, we got to ask the question, over the course of your retirement in the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, are taxes going to be higher or are they going to be lower than they are today? Now, everyone maybe has a different opinion on this. Well, maybe not, because the consensus I seem to get is everyone thinks taxes are going up. And you kind of look at the state of the federal debt, you look at the state of Social Security right now, and you got to think taxes have to go up. And so if they're going to go up, who are they going to go up on? Think about all this money that's sitting in 401k accounts, TSP accounts, 403b. All of that money has never been taxed before. When you contributed it before taxes. So now when you go to withdraw it, when you need it the most in retirement, you have to then pay taxes on it, okay? You have to take proactive steps to minimize it. The current tax environment that we're in today under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is a relatively low historical tax rate environment. Now, it doesn't always feel that way, but if you just look at marginal income tax rates in this tax code versus the last, tax rates are lower. And why is that important? It's important because this tax code is scheduled to expire December 31st of 2025.
Wow.
A lot of people look at that and they say, well, after 2025, my taxes are going to go up. How we look at that is, well, we have effectively a 2 or maybe 2.5 year opportunity to be proactive about our tax plan. We have all of 23, 2024, and 2025 to make proactive decisions on how we can reduce our future tax bill. I think you have to be considering this stuff when you really think about how to put together a holistic retirement plan.
Absolutely. Ozzy, what are some of the steps that people can take to just be prepared for the taxes if they do increase in the years ahead, I should say?
What we need to take a look at it is like, what is our tax bracket at the moment? And we don't know what the taxes are going to be in the future. And a lot of people think it's going to get higher. So does it make sense to do a Roth conversion? Is that the right thing for you? Because most of the clients who comes to our office is looking at it and, okay, right now I'm in this X tax bracket and I have a room that I can make some Roth conversions, and probably it's not going to raise my taxes at the moment, but at least I can have that money in a different pile, and in the future, when I need to take the money out, which bunch of things that we have to follow, wait for 5 years and so forth, and when we need to take the money out, we can take out tax-free. And which is the best word, is the tax-free, but also, you know, most of our clients like to leave money to their, you know, kids or grandkids. And what is the most efficient way to leave the money to the heirs? Definitely not the 401k, because like they're gonna be higher in the tax bracket, you know, in the future. You know, that's what people are talking about it. So I say you have to take a look into the Roth conversion, but make sure that it's the right thing for you. Talk to a CPA and, you know, all the professionals to make sure it's the right thing.
Ozzy, thank you so much. Prashant, I should ask you, another question that we hear quite a bit is, can I use life insurance to build tax-free cash value? What is your opinion on that?
So my opinion is it's got to be done the right way. Okay, life insurance is an extremely powerful tool because of the inherent tax-free benefits that you can get by using it properly. Now, what we see is people make mistakes on how it's used. And so this kind of goes back to the idea of working with a true specialist with this stuff, okay? The worst thing you can do is set up a plan that is supposed to do something and find out years later that it wasn't done correctly. So you want to make sure that it's being done correctly from the very beginning. And that applies to whether you use life insurance for tax-free benefits. It applies to doing Roth conversions. You just want to make sure that there are no mistakes on how that is done. And I think that's why a lot of advisors kind of shy away from making those recommendations to clients. Now, everyone is a little bit different. There's no cookie cutter solution out there. But if you're working with the right specialist who has a tremendous amount of experience in dealing with these things, and you loop in the appropriate other professionals that you're working with, your tax advisor, your estate planning attorney, then this stuff cohesively could be very, very powerful. Okay, so this is what we call the Retire Smart Roadmap process. Okay, for all of you that have been watching the show for weeks, or maybe this is your first time watching the show, we're going to open up our phone lines. The phone number is 833-308-5200. And when you call in, it'll be your opportunity to come in and visit with us and get started on putting together your own personalized Retire Smart Roadmap. That roadmap is going to include things like an income for life plan, which is essentially a projection of what your income may look like every single year for the rest of your lifetime. It'll also include your tax plan, okay? So that tax plan is going to give you at least an idea of what your taxes are potentially going to look like in the future. And then, you know, we also have a CPA that we can loop in to the process as well. So doing the income plan, the tax plan, and then the investment analysis to do a portfolio stress test is an integral part of creating this Retire Smart Roadmap. You can get started on yours by calling the phone number 833-308-5200. If you can't call right now, you can also visit retiremaryland.com to get one of those complimentary no obligation appointments at our offices in Ellicott City.
And a copy of the book as well?
Copy of the book as well. If you visit retiremaryland.com, you can get a copy of Fiscal Health, Retirement Wealth, which is a book that I put out to try to get as much educational information out there on how to think about your retirement.
I love this book. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, Ozzy. To the viewers at home, the number to call is on your screen, 833-308-5200. We know that you have a lot of questions for Prashant and Ozzy about how to plan your perfect retirement, how to navigate through tax changes, if you will. They have the answers for you. Again, that number to call, 833-308-5200. Get a copy of your retirement roadmap. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I want to talk about the difference between market risk and tax risk. Are they the same? Stay tuned.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
And welcome back to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia Defazio. I'm joined today by Prashant Sabapathi and Ozer Culhagil of Elite Income Advisors. Gentlemen, a wonderful show we're having today. Again, talking about the importance of having that proper plan in place for retiring, and retiring with abundance, if you will. Wanted to ask you a question. Is there a difference between tax risk and market risk? Can we unpack both of those?
Yeah, would love to do that. So market risk is essentially the risk of losing money due to extraneous events that impact the stock market, right? So that could be anything from the Federal Reserve raising rates, could be any piece of news. It could be a tweet that's sent out by the wrong person, and that is going to impact markets, right? How many times have we seen that just in the last 5 or 6 years alone? Is one piece of news comes out and that makes the market do something unexpected. So that's what market risk is. Tax risk, to me, is the threat of tax rates changing and impacting how much income goes into your pocket, especially when you're retired. While you're working, you have a means to be able to deal with those types of things because you have a paycheck coming in, right? For so many retirees where Social Security is maybe their only source of guaranteed income, and now they've saved all this money, $500,000, $1 million in their 401k and IRAs, we have to be really sensitive to tax risk. If tax rates go up and now you start to withdraw, it means that there's less money in your pocket because more money is going away in taxes. Now, the interesting thing is that while these two risks are different, they are so very much interconnected. What I mean by that is investments will always have some kind of an impact potentially on your tax plan. Your income is going to impact your taxes. Your taxes are going to affect your Medicare. And so now more than ever, retirement planning needs to be coordinated. Okay, back in the day, you only had to worry about one small part of the retirement income pie, and that was your personal savings. But today, you got to be worried about the market, you got to be worried about taxes, got to be worried about Medicare and healthcare. There's so many moving parts to it. I don't even know how people keep it straight sometimes.
Right?
There's just so much going on.
It can be confusing, absolutely. Yeah. So all of these things you have to consider when doing the holistic retirement plan.
That's right.
Another question that we had recently, Ozer, and I think this is a great one as well. They would like to know, what is the difference between tax planning and tax preparation, since we talk so much about it on the show?
It's a great question. The tax preparation, my opinion, is just to get your stuff ready to give it to your CPA so the CPA can do your tax return, right?
Okay.
But when we do the planning for the future, we need to look at it, what kind of income we're going to have this year, next year, and the year after. The required minimum distribution, when it starts, how is that going to affect our taxes? That's why we need to start doing the tax planning now for our future to see what is the rates is going to be look like. Again, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what the taxes are going to be in the future, up, down. But at least if we can start planning now with a bunch of different options like the road conversions or putting money away in a different way. There is some life insurance options available for some clients if that's the right thing. But to me, the tax planning is really important to do it right now than later.
Ozzy, thank you. And I'm glad that you brought up the Roth conversion, because our next question, Prashant, is actually about the Roth conversion. Can you explain who is it for? What are the pluses and minuses?
So what's great is a Roth conversion can be utilized by anybody. Okay, if you have a pre-tax retirement account, you can convert it to a Roth. Now, when you make that conversion, you have to pay all the taxes in the year that you made the conversion. So if I have, let's say I have $1 million in my IRA account and I wanted to convert $100,000 in this tax year, that $100,000 now goes from being pre-tax to a tax-deferred or potentially tax-free type of account. The only issue is that now I got to add an extra $100,000 to my income taxes for the year. So I'm going to owe federal tax. I'm going to owe potentially state tax if I live in a state that taxes my income, like Maryland does. Then you're going to have to pay all those taxes up front in the year that you make the conversion. So there's pros and cons to it. Of course, I love anything that's going to be tax-free for the future. We just have to kind of have that balancing act of how much do we want to convert so that we don't go into the higher tax bracket in the year that we make the conversion.
Prashant, thank you so much. This is a great question, Ozzy. It says, are you a CPA, or how does this work with your firm?
I'm not a CPA. We do work with a bunch of different CPAs and CPA firms. We also have in-house a CPA that can answer some of the clients' questions and give them, her thoughts about how the, tax planning is going to be look like for them. But we are not CPAs, we are not lawyers, but we do work with the people who is qualified in this area to give their information to our clients. That's what we do. Find the specialist.
Ozzy, thank you so much. Prashant, if someone is not factoring in taxes for their retirement, how detrimental can that be to someone's retirement overall?
I think a lot of times people have a tendency to just think of taxes as something that will always be there, and so they ignore it, or they pay very little attention to it. And this goes back to this idea of tax preparation versus tax planning. And how I always like to talk about it is, when you drive your car, for instance, do you only look out the rearview mirror?
Nope.
Of course not. That's not a way to operate, right? And that's all tax planning versus tax preparation is, right? Tax preparation is looking backwards at the year that we've passed, and tax planning is looking forwards, okay? And so when we think about people who do not pay enough attention to this, people just say, I'm always going to have to pay taxes so I don't have to worry about it. Well, that couldn't be, in my opinion, further from the truth. There's so many different proactive things that you can do right now, that we can all do today, to be proactive about reducing our future tax rates. What you have to do is you have to make a determination whether or not any of those strategies is the right thing for you. We're going to help you through that process. It all starts with you making a phone call. It's 833-308-5200. Pick up the phone right now, give us a call, and get on our schedule. Okay, we don't want to procrastinate on this, because the current tax code is going to expire in just a couple short years. So pick up the phone, give us a call. When you come in to visit with us, we'll start by putting together an income plan, which would allow us to understand where you stand from an income standpoint, and then we'll do some proactive tax brainstorming, let's say, where we can say, if we do a Roth conversion, this is the impact that that potentially could have on your retirement plan. So this is all part of the Retire Smart Roadmap process. It really starts with you making that phone call right now. There's only a limited number of spots exclusive for TV viewers. 833-308-5200. You can also pull out your smartphone, scan the QR code, or visit retiremaryland.com. We're giving people as many different opportunities as possible to get on the calendar.
Prashant, thank you so much. Ozzy, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is on your screen, 833-308-5200. Again, as Prashant and Ozzy have mentioned, if you have questions about planning your retirement, they have the answers for you. Don't miss the opportunity to call in today, or go ahead, grab that smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That'll take you right to the landing page. We're going to take a very short commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about, are you nervous about the stock market, and are you thinking about pulling all your money out and going to cash? Is that a good idea? Stay tuned and find out. We'll be right back momentarily on Retire Smart Maryland.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia Defazio, and I'm joined today by Prashant Sabapathi and Ozer Culhagil of Elite Income Advisors. Gentlemen, a great show again we're having today, talking about the importance of planning properly for retirement and how to navigate the taxes, if you will, going forward. I know a lot of people in the audience today are watching the stock market. It's up and down, it's very volatile, but you might have some people that are thinking about pulling everything out of the stock market, going right into cash. Prashant, is this a good idea? Why or why not?
Look, I think it's a natural human reaction to feel anxious when the market goes down. Okay, now we've all been through these ups and downs in the market, but over the past, through 2022 and into 2023, the market sell-off has been worse than anything that we've seen in quite some time, both in stocks and in bonds, which has been a really kind of interesting thing to live through. And so it's natural to feel anxious and think, maybe I should just sell and take all my money out. I think this comes back to having a real plan in place. We talk about having buckets of money. So buckets of money means you have a risk bucket and you have a safe bucket. And then you also have a bank bucket, which is liquid money. I believe that if you're balanced across these buckets, that's what's really going to give you the opportunity to withstand some of the market volatility that we're going through. Remember, market volatility really becomes an issue when you don't have income coming in. Right? So if you're retired and now you're depending on all of that market money to create your income, then of course you're going to be anxious about it. I would be anxious about that too.
Sure.
That's a scary thing to go through. But
sure,
if you can withstand the ups and downs of the market by giving it time to recover and pull your income out from a different bucket of money, that's really what's going to allow you to take that risk. And so that's how we think about it in a little bit of a different way. There is no cookie cutter advice on who should just pull money out of the market. It all depends on what does your plan allow you to do. And ultimately, where is your paycheck going to come from when you get to retirement?
Thank you so much, Prashant. Ozer, this is a great question. This actually came in from a viewer. It says, Ozer, in your opinion, are annuities a safe bet for planning my retirement? Annuities.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because everyone's situation is different. And like Prashant says, there is no cookie cutter explanation for anything. It might be the right solution for you as long as we know what we are dealing with. When you come to our office, like we say, like we put together the Retire Smart Roadmap. And when we put together the Retire Smart Roadmap, we look at your income, we look at your assets, and we consider everything to make sure that you have enough income coming in at your retirement. You have the wiggle room that, if the inflation comes up and so forth. And when we look doing this, maybe the annuity is the right thing for you, maybe not. We don't know unless we know what we are dealing with. So there is no cookie cutter explanation to any of this stuff. And sometimes the people think that like annuities are bad. There is a lot of different type of annuities out there. Maybe that's the reason that some of them are not good for that specific person. we have to take a look at the whole picture before giving any advice to any clients.
Thank you, Ozzy. So Prashant, really what it comes down to, what you and Ozzy are so passionate about, is properly planning, taking in all of these avenues, if you will, and designing that roadmap for someone. So if someone's watching for the very first time, briefly mention what are the different pieces and parts of that roadmap. Are we factoring in Social Security, long-term care, health care?
Absolutely. It's all of that stuff and more, right? So when we talk about this Retire Smart roadmap, number one is developing a plan for your income. We want to have a tremendous understanding of where your income is going to come from, what sources, how much is that income going to be, how does it get taxed when you receive it, and what happens to that income when you pass away. If we can answer these 4 questions about your income, you're going to feel really good about that. Now, there's a lot that goes into that, right? It's not as simple as just listing it out on a sheet. We also do a Social Security timing report. The Social Security timing report is going to show you different combinations of how to collect your Social Security benefit, and then we put that into your income for life plan. So Social Security timing, income for life report, and then we got to do a portfolio stress test. That stress test is really going to give you an idea of how your investments are going to perform in different market scenarios. Good markets, we want to see how much you have the potential to earn. More importantly, in my opinion, in really bad markets, how much are you subject to losing? So income plan, Social Security analysis, stress test, and then yes, taxes and long-term care have to be a part of that conversation as well. And so when you're thinking about this roadmap, you know, you're probably sitting at home thinking, my advisor's never talked to me about a real roadmap before. This is a great opportunity. It's totally complimentary, by the way, for you to come in and visit with us. You just dial 833-308-5200. When you come in to visit with us, you are not coming in agreeing to become a client. In fact, we don't even agree to take anybody as a client until we have a chance, like Ozzy said, to sit down, evaluate your situation, and figure out whether or not you even need our help. We find some people need our help. We find some people that are actually in really good shape. So just call, schedule an appointment, come in to visit with us. Let's get started on creating your Retire Smart roadmap, which will give you some confidence to retire in your most abundant, fulfilling way possible.
Prashant, thank you so much. Ozzy, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, thank you for watching Retire Smart Maryland. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We'll see you back again 1 week from today. Take care now.